Hello Beyblade World, welcome back to another unboxing video. My name is Rome. Today we're going to take a look at the new B-203 Ultimate Fusion DX set. The big DX on the box stands for Deluxe because this thing comes with 3 Beyblades, a launcher, a big box, and a whole lot of things to talk about, so let's get right to it. But before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of our new videos. Thanks guys. Alright, taking a quick look at the box, we have the new BU versions of Hyperion and Helios. We're also getting gold recolor of Divine Belial with the new Belial3 DB Core, H-gear, and holy cow, the bearing drift driver. 2 meta drivers in one. Up here it shows that Hyperion and Helios can be fused together. Again, tons and tons of possible combinations as shown here at the back of the box. Here we have Shine Mist. Anyways, Super Hyperion and King Helios also comes with brand new drivers, and we're also getting a full custom launcher. Down over here are the stats. So we have attack, power, and defense up top, stamina and weight at the bottom, and this is mobility and burst. Looking all the way to the right, this one talks about the burst stopper of Belial and the built-in bearing of the bearing drift driver. Down here at the bottom are the sticker guides. This release is super hyped, so let's not waste any more time. On to the unboxing. Let's start off with a full custom launcher. This launcher comes in red and blue, and it actually reminds me more of Ultimate Valkyrie than Helios and Hyperion. Anyways, this is currently the best and most advanced launcher at the time of this recording. It features the power gear unit, which has about +3 max rotations compared to standard ones. We also have the long core unit, which has a longer string. And of course, the bearing spin unit, which has built-in bearings. That's going to make sure your launches are smooth and is released in its full power. So far, you can only get the full custom launcher with this release and the overdrive starter set with Dangerous Belial. Alright, moving on to the first bay, we have Divine Belial, and the first part we'll take a look at is the Belial3 DB Core. It takes 3 clicks for Belial3 to burst. 1, 2, 3. Looking at its teeth, they're actually deeper than Belial2, so yay for more burst resistance. Similar to the red version of Belial2, this thing is still BU lock compatible. It has 1 BU lock, and it also has burst stoppers. So just a quick recap, to activate the burst stopper, you need to do an overdrive launch, which is just a fancy name for a hard launch. On that note, the first Belial2 core activated quite easily. The red one took a little bit more effort to activate, but the burst stopper itself is stronger. So I'm wondering what the difference for Belial3 would be. The red color of the stopper is kind of intimidating as well. What is that, like a dash version of a burst stopper? Next up is the Divine Blade. It's attack oriented and can be upgraded with the L gear, H gear, and A gear. Again, its major weaknesses are its weight and hollow underside. So if you're trying to build an attack bay, there might be better choices, even with the A gear attached. Then we have the H gear, which basically doubles as the armor of Divine Belial. This thing comes in 2 parts and is compatible in both high mode and low mode. Low mode. When I was watching Takara Tomy talk about this, I was like, stop and take my money. To set it up in low mode, you need to attach the metal armor underneath as usual, and then the plastic armor up top. While in this mode, the plastic armor has an aerodynamic effect which cuts through the air, which in theory should increase its mobility even if just by a little bit. On the other hand, to set it up in high mode, the DB core goes under the blade, the metal armor goes up top, and the plastic armor goes at the bottom. In this mode, the H gear's burst lock is activated. If we take a closer look, we can see that there are 2 tabs on the plastic armor. These tabs grip the forge disc, making it harder for the bay to burst. Next up is the Nexus Forge Disc, which usually comes with most Belial bays. You can either attach the S gear from Astral Spriggan or the D gear from Gatling Dragon on this thing. And last but not least, we have the bearing drift driver. This is probably going to be the newest super meta driver. Similar to drift, it has a free spinning tip, but this time with the addition of bearings. That means less friction, less power loss, more spin, more stamina. The downside of this is that this thing will be easy to toss around the stadium, meaning you need to be careful with KOs when using this thing. The bearing drift driver is also a little taller than drift, only by a little, but take that into account when building your combos. So weighing each part separately, the Belial3 DB Core weighs 7.85 grams compared to the red Belial2, which is 8 grams, and the black and gold Belial2, which is 7.9 grams. Then we have the H gear, compared to the L gear, 15.48 grams. And then the bearing drift driver, which is 10.27 grams, compared to the drift driver, which is 9.9 grams. And of course, the full combo of Divine Belial3 H gear is 73.08 grams. Next, we'll talk about King Helios MR and Super Hyperion MR. The MR on both bays just means metal for the M and R for the rubber. If we take a closer look, we can see that both bays have a metal and rubber side. Now, these two blades have a couple of really cool gimmicks. The first and main one is that you can actually take the blades apart and combine them with the half of the other one, similar to duo eclipse. To take the blades apart, you just flip them over and slide them out. So just for reference, this is King M and this is King R. On the other hand, this is Super M and this one is Super R. When you combine both the rubber sides, you get Super King R, whereas if you combine both the metal sides, you get Super King M. You can do about 6 different combinations with just the blades alone if you purchase one set. But if you purchase multiple copies of this set, it is possible to combine 2 Super M's and 2 Super R's, and the same with King M and King R. Just so you can imagine what it looks like, this is King R. Now, if you have another King R and you attach it here on this side, the contact points of the right side wouldn't be pointing up like this one. It would be pointing downwards like this. So again, there's a couple more different combinations that you can do, but you gotta purchase multiple sets for you to be able to do them. The next thing you need to know about these blades is that they are dual spin. As you can see, there are LRs on both blades. What this means is you can basically slap any DB cores on them. Super King Bahamut MR? Check. Super King Kerbeus MR? Check. So the best thing is you don't even have to flip the blade over to change its rotation. It's just dual spin, plain and simple. Next, let's talk about the DB cores. Same as the blades, they are basically mirrors of each other and have the same features. The only difference is that Helios is left spin and Hyperion is right spin. So as you can see here, the base of the cores are transparent, and the reason for that is so it kind of blends in no matter what blade combination you use. It's simple and nothing fancy, but small details make a big difference. So good job, Takara Tomy. It takes 4 clicks for both cores to burst. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking at the teeth, they both look pretty strong, so burst resistance shouldn't be an issue. And look, we have 2 BU locks on these guys. So a quick recap about BU locks, you need both the core and the disc to be BU lock compatible for it to work. It's a gimmick that basically increases your burst resistance. Currently, the only ones available at the time of this recording is Santis from Cyphoid Excalibur and Moon from Wind Knight. So here's a fun fact. Helios and Hyperion are sun gods, and the Moon Forge disc works on them. So yeah, it's basically a nod to duo eclipse with a combination of the sun and the moon. You can also see how the color of the material used on Moon is very similar to the materials used on the blades and the drivers. Again, very small but very interesting details. So let's quickly go through the armor pieces on these two. For Hyperion, we have the 2 armor, and for Helios, we have 10. Out of these two, 10 is the more competitive part. 2 is an attack-oriented armor piece with 2 heavy points, while 10 has a symmetrical shape and has 10 heavy points that increase a Beyblade stamina. For the forged discs, we have Tapered for Hyperion and Giga for Helios, both of which are competitive parts. Tapered is completely round, but if you're going for roundness, there might be better options out there like over or illegal. Giga is one of the heaviest discs currently available. Most people like using it for attack combos, but in reality, It's very versatile and can be used for any combinations. And lastly, we have more new parts. For drivers, we're getting Explosion for Hyperion and Zeal for Helios. Explosion is attack type while Zeal is balance. Both of these drivers feature hard rubber tips and rotating rings. Explosion's tip is flat and has a spiral jagged shape. This is very similar to Destroy. However, because of the rubber material used, I would assume that this would have very explosive speeds. Zeal's tip is rounder and pointier. Although it's made of the same material as Explosion, its shape allows it to stay in the center of the stadium and resist KO attacks from its opponents. Both tips being made of rubber though, we need to do a lot of testing to see how they perform stamina wise. Okay, let's go ahead and weigh all the parts. First up are the DB cores. We have Helios at 7.11 grams and Hyperion at 7.35, so Hyperion is heavier. And then we have the King MR blade at 15.83 and the Super MR blade at 15.61. Then we have Giga at 32.55 against Tapered 28.56. Then the armor pieces, this is 13.3 compared to Armor 2, 13.46. Finally, the drivers, we have Zeal at 6.6 grams compared to Explosion at 6.7 grams. The full weight of King Helios MR is 75.38 compared to the full weight of Super Hyperion MR, which is 71.66. Let's go ahead and do some test battles with these guys. Alright, test battles. We have King Helios versus Super Hyperion. 3, 2, 1, go shoot! 3, 2, 1, go shoot! Okay, Helios staying at the center of the stadium as expected. Ooh, bit of scraping there. Hyperion, aggressive movements. Ooh, nice. And it's a draw. Okay, one more time. Helios, go. Hyperion, go. Big hit from Hyperion. Ooh, I like that. Okay, Helios staying perfectly still at the center of the stadium. Hyperion wasting stamina, so... Okay, you can kind of hear the difference between the rubber and the metal side. And it's Hyperion for the win. Last round for these two. Helios, go. Hyperion. Ooh. Man, I like Explosion. Okay, the question is, does it have enough stamina? And it's going to be... I would say Hyperion. 3, 2, 1, go shoot! Angle launch. Big hit from Hyperion. Oh! Belial looks wobbly. Hyperion wins. And that is it for the B-203 Ultimate Fusion DX set. We definitely need to do some more battles with these guys to test out all the possible combinations. But as far as I can tell, this is actually a pretty good release. A bit on the pricey side, but totally worth it in my opinion. Just think of it this way. Whether you're just getting into Beyblade or have been collecting for a while, you would want to have Beyblades that are fun to use, you'd want to have parts to customize with, and you'd want to have the option to play competitively with the parts that you're gonna get. Those three are all checked out in this release. You're also getting a new and improved Divine Belial bay, which is basically at the center of the whole DB and BU series. Plus, you're also getting a full custom launcher. So yeah, this thing is a 4.5 stars in my opinion. -5 just because of how pricey it is. As always, thank you guys for watching. There should be links to our other videos on this side. The subscribe button should be down here. And see you guys again next time. Bye!